In this video, we're going to have a look at how to implement the solution for the fifth project in the HTML CSS Demo Project series. So in this, our task is very simple. We're only going to make all the pages mobile responsive. So let's have a look at how to do this. First, we're going to go to the profile page folder and open up the index page in Notepad. And also we're going to open up the page in the browser. Now, as we saw in the prompt video, you can always look at any web page on the browser and see how it would look on a mobile device by right-clicking on any part of the page and clicking on Inspect. So when you click Inspect, you can see this icon here. So this is what it looked like in the desktop. And if you click on this icon, you can actually choose a device and see how it would look if we view this web page on that device. So you can select the device and you can see that it looks pretty bad because you can't read it. And if you're looking at this on your mobile phone, you can see that the font is so small, you can't read it. And you can see that there's a lot of free space, which is really not that good because on a mobile device, you already have a very little space. So you need to make sure that your web page is using all of the available space effectively. So you can see that here as well. And everything is small, and especially here. So let's have a look at how we can optimize a web page for mobile devices. So what I'm going to do is go to a new tab and I'm going to look for a term called mobile responsive. So I've searched for this particular term because this is a concept in web development where a particular web page has to appear differently based on what kind of a device it's viewed on. So that is the concept of mobile responsiveness. So I'm going to click on this link from W3 Schools and you can see that there's this topic called HTML responsive web design, and you can see that the same web page looks different on different devices. So this is the whole concept of it, and you can read all about it here. And here on this page, what they've done is they've given you different strategies for making a page look optimized for the particular device that it's viewed on. So you can see here, this is one strategy, setting the viewport. So basically what this does is like you have to add this particular tag on the head section of your web page, and it will make a web page that looks like this on your mobile device into looking like this. So this is a way to automatically adjust the different aspects of the web page according to the size of the device. And there are also ways to make sure that your image sort of occupies the entire space available and is not stretched beyond its limits. I'm only going to give you a brief glimpse of what these things do. If you want to actually fully understand what's going on and what this page is fully talking about, I'd recommend that you spend some time on this web page. Just Google for HTML responsive web design and you'll find these things on the W3 Schools page. And also here you can see that there's a way to actually make a particular picture look different based on the screen size. I'm going to quickly show you how this works. So here you can see that in this screen size, it's showing you this image. But if you increase it, or rather decrease it, you'll get to see different images based on the width of the page. So that's what it's doing here. Based on certain criteria, it's showing you different images. And there's also a thing called responsive text size. Basically, you can adjust the font size of a particular element based on the width of the available screen size. So VW stands for viewport width. Viewport is basically the size of the available viewing space on the device that you're looking at. So on a phone, it'll be different. On a computer, it'll be different. So depending on that, it'll change the size of the font of this particular text. So there are ways to adjust font size based on the screen size. And the most important way to achieve mobile responsiveness or responsive design is using media queries. So you can see here, there's some code here which will make certain qualities look different based on the screen size. So this particular code here simply adjusts the CSS properties of particular classes based on the screen size. So here you're giving this code media screen and max width 800. So whenever the width of the screen is below 800, it'll apply these properties to these classes. Otherwise, these classes will apply. So let's quickly give this a shot and see what it does. So if you adjust the screen size, you can see that the content changes depending on the size of the screen. So what this code is doing is we're giving it different properties to different classes. And then in here at the end, you're giving it a media query, which basically says that when the size of the screen is less than 800 pixels, so that is the maximum width of the page is 800 pixels, apply these properties to these classes. So what it'll do is it'll inherit all of these properties, and on top of it, it'll add the width property to be 100 whenever the size of the screen is less than 800 pixels. If the size of the pixel is more than 800 pixels, it'll use this property. So that's what this code means. And actually W3 Schools offers this kind of a tutorial, the RWD tutorial, the responsive web design tutorial. And if you want to understand responsive web design in more depth, you can actually come to this page and have a look at this. I'll add a link to this in the description, so you can quickly access this page and go through this. It'll give you a better idea as to how to implement responsive web design. But for our purposes, I'm just going to use a couple of these things. So the first thing I'm going to do to our profile page is add the viewport on all of the pages. So let's have a look at how this looks on our profile page. So I'm going to go to the index page. Right now it looks like this. And I'm going to quickly add this to the head section. So within the head tag, the head opening tag and the head closing tag, if you add this meta tag with the name viewport and content attribute with this value, width equals device width and initial scale equals 1.0, it will have a certain effect on it. So I'm going to save this and refresh it here. And now you can immediately see the difference. It's basically zooming up the content to fill the page and make it look appropriate for the mobile device. So I'm going to close this and see how it looks on the desktop. So desktop looks fine just as before. And when you go to the mobile device, it looks fine on the mobile device as well. Let's do the same for the about page. We'll also do the same for the other pages as well. So I've added the meta tag on all of the pages. Now let's go here and have a look at these. So now each of these pages looks better, but still there are things to be done. The home page looks fine if you ask me. And if you look at the about page, here we have an issue because the video is stretching beyond the page. So we may need to adjust the size of this video to fit within the page. So that's one thing. And the gallery page looks fine. And then the contact page. So here what I would like to do is I'd like to eliminate this gap. So this gap is excessive. We want to make sure that all of the space that is available on the mobile device is used efficiently. So we need to make sure that we stretch out these input fields from side to side and also make the text a little bit bigger because it's difficult to read when it's very small. So throughout our website, what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the size of this video on the about page. And we're going to go to the contact page and adjust this form to look appropriate for our mobile device. So let's address this one first. Now, if you look at the about page on the desktop, this looks fine. I don't think we need to change anything on the desktop view. I'm going to go to the about page in the mobile view. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this video is never more than the width of the page. So let's have a look at some of these techniques that we've seen and see which one fits our needs. So we've already implemented the viewport part. So in this we have some options. So here it says use the max width property, and if the max width property is set to 100%, the image will scale down if it has to, but never scale up to be larger than its original size. So I think this is the most effective solution for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our about HTML page, and here we have given a particular width which works for the desktop, but this is a bit too much for our mobile device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new window and open our CSS file. And in here, I'm going to target that video using this particular ID. So I'm going to add this ID just here. And I'm going to say max width is 100%. That way it never extends beyond the width of the page. So I've done that. Now let's refresh this. Okay. So now you can see that it actually does not extend beyond the edge of the page. So this issue is now fixed. And now the only thing we need to work on is the contact page. So let's have a look at the contact HTML file. So here we have the form and the label, input and select and text area. So all of this is fine. And we also have some CSS properties for the contact form. So we are targeting the contact form using this ID that we've given, ID equals contact form. So that width is set to 250 pixels, which as you can see, it's not looking that great on the mobile page. So what we are going to do is we're going to use the media queries technique to adjust the size of these things based on the screen size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this part and I'm going to bring it onto my styles.css. And you can set this to be different for different use cases, but I'm going to leave this like this for now. I'm going to remove this. And so here you can see that we have added the contact form ID and given these properties. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy these and bring it over here. And so here what we're going to do is, let's remove this. We only want to modify the width property. And I'm going to give this a width of 100% so that whenever the page is below 800 pixels, it's going to make the width of it 100% of the available space. So let's go to our contact page now and let's refresh this. And now you can see that it actually expanded the width to release the unused gap. Now we're using the space more efficiently. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the input fields are occupying the full space. So if you look at the code on the contact.html file, you can see that these white spaces are the input tags. And this drop down is a select tag and the text area is this one. So let's go to the style and let's say contact form input. Now notice that I have not actually directly targeted the input. I wanted to target only when it's within the contact form ID. So here I'm going to say width is 100%. Let's save that and see what that looks like. And now you can see that it's occupying the entire width. Now it looks like it's going beyond the width available. So let's make it a little less. Maybe we can make it a 95%. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And let's do the same for the select. Let's copy this. And let's update this to select. Okay, that looks better. Now all of this looks better. Even the submit button looks better. The only thing that I don't like is that the font is a little too small. So let's adjust that. Let's say the font size is 1.2 EM. So EM is a way to specify the font size. It's just like pixel, but except that EM will basically multiply the regular font size with this number. So whatever you put here, this will multiply the regular font size. So let's say the regular font size is 20 pixels. It will multiply that with 1.2, which will be 24 pixels. So let's save this and refresh. Now you can see that the font size is increased, and I also want to increase the height of the input fields. So let's try to do that. I want to say height is 15 pixels. Let's try that. Let's actually try to give it a really large number to see if it has any effect. Okay, it does have an effect. And let's maybe go for 25 pixels. Okay, that looks better. Let's do the same for the select. Okay. Let's also give the input fields in the select border so that it looks good. 1 pixel, solid, purple. Okay, so that looks like it looks nice. And let's do the same for this one. And for the text area. So we've modified the look of the contact page. It looks good now. Now the only thing is we've made these changes for our mobile device, but we also need to implement these border colors on the main desktop view. So what we can do is we can move these properties outside. So the reason why we are able to see the border only in the mobile and not the desktop is that we've added these border properties only within the media query. So we need to move these border properties outside so that we get it on both the desktop and the mobile device. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it right below the contact form ID that we designed previously. And here I'm going to remove these things. And then leave it like that. So here I don't need to specify these anymore, because one thing you need to note is that whatever we're specifying in the media queries will add to the existing definitions we posted before this. So here we already have a contact form ID that we specified here. Okay. So whatever we're specifying here will add on top of the existing properties that we've given here. So since we've already given this border property for the input contact form here, we don't need to specify it again here. So we can remove this and this and this as well and save this. Now if you refresh this, it will look the same on the mobile, but if you go to your desktop, now you can see the borders here as well. So that's the beauty of media queries. So basically that's how you'd use media queries. So now let's have a look at what it looks like on the mobile device one last time to see if all the pages look fine. So the home page looks fine. The about also looks fine. The video is fixed now. Gallery, we didn't have any issues previously. And on the contact page, we have all the things showing up properly. So this is how we would implement mobile responsiveness on all the pages on our profile page. Please make sure to practice this code. Don't just watch this video and leave it at it. You have to practice to gain the benefits from learning these things. Hope this video was helpful. Please make sure to like and share this video and also subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for notifications. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.